3 years of love shattered in a single moment. My fiancé fell for my stepsister, my family turned against me, and I was left with nothing. Or so they thought. This is the story of how I walked away from betrayal and found the courage to start over. You won't believe what happened next. I had been with Ethan Grant for 3 years, but he never proposed. Later, he fell head over heels for my stepsister at first sight and pursued her boldly, without shame. This time, I didn't cry or linger in silence, hoping he'd tire of her in return. Instead, I discarded every gift he'd ever given me, tore apart the wedding gown I'd secretly purchased, and on his birthday, I left the Grant family for good. Just before boarding my flight, Ethan sent a WeChat message. "Why aren't you here? Everyone's waiting." I gave a faint smile, didn't respond, and blocked him on every platform. He had no idea that 2 weeks earlier I'd accepted a proposal from my college senior, Daniel Lee. Once the plane landed in the new city, we'd be married. "Daniel, I have decided," I said, staring at my pale, fragile reflection in the mirror. Making such a monumental choice wasn't as hard as I'd feared. "Clara, will you accept my proposal?" Daniel's deep voice came through the phone. My heart clenched as tears fell, but I nodded softly. "Yes." "Clara, I've waited for this since college," he said. In the mirror, I hadn't noticed the faint smile creeping onto my lips. "Give me 2 weeks to wrap things up here, okay?" "I'll be waiting, Daniel." Moments after we hung up, my door swung open. "Clara," my father said, clearing his throat awkwardly, "your sister's unwell. Her room's too dim. Why not swap for a few days?" I glanced at my stepmother and stepsister, Ivy Grant, behind him. My stepmother chimed in. "No need to bother Clara, dear." Ivy added softly, "Yes, Dad, I'm fine. Don't upset Clara over me." "Nonsense, you're my daughter too," Dad said, then turned to me, his tone firm. "Clara, you're the elder sister. Be reasonable." I thought I'd be heartbroken, that I'd cry because my own father favored a girl with no blood tie over me, but I didn't. I smiled and nodded. "Sure, I'll switch." Only 2 weeks remained until I'd leave forever. Where I slept didn't matter anymore. Dad seemed pleased with my compliance, and my stepmother smiled smugly. After they left, Ivy lingered. "Clara, let me help you pack," she offered sweetly, but her eyes gleamed with satisfaction as she scanned the room. "I didn't expect Dad would actually make us swap," she said. "Are you mad at me? I mean, I took Ethan from you, and now your room of 10 years. I ignored her and reached for my suitcase. Suddenly, Ivy yelped and collapsed, her arms striking the desk, a bruise blooming instantly. "Clara Lynn, what are you doing?" Ethan's voice boomed. I hadn't noticed him arrive, but he'd seen Ivy fall. His face darkened as he rushed to her, cradling her gently. "Ethan, I'm okay. It wasn't Clara's fault," Ivy said tearfully, forcing a pained smile. "It doesn't hurt, really." "How can it not hurt?" Ethan snapped, staring at her bruise with concern. But when he looked at me, his eyes turned icy, sharp as frost. "Clara Lynn, if you're angry, take it out on me. Don't hurt Ivy. She's suffered enough, unlike you, born with everything, never knowing struggle." I thought I was immune to him, that I wouldn't cry over Ethan Grant again. But I was just a girl, not made of stone. The boy I'd grown up with, the man I'd loved for 3 years, had fallen for a softer, younger girl in days, and painted me as a cruel villain. I wanted to laugh, but tears welled up. "Ethan Grant, we've known each other forever. Don't you know who I am?" His brows furrowed, and for a moment his expression seemed to falter. But then Ivy sobbed. "Ethan, don't argue with Clara over me. She has every right to be upset." His gaze hardened. "You're just jealous I love Ivy, that I treat her well, that everyone cares for her. Clara Lynn, you've changed. You're twisted now, aren't you?" He turned and left with Ivy in his arms. Watching them go, I realized my tears had dried without me noticing. Maybe that was good. I'd cried too much over Ethan lately. Maybe I could finally stop letting him break my heart. That night, our mutual friends group chat erupted. Ethan posted, "Suddenly, feel like getting married. What do I do?" The chat exploded. "Ethan, are you finally marrying Clara?" "Congrats, sister-in-law." "When's the wedding?" I was about to clarify that I wasn't the bride, that Ethan's marriage plans didn't involve me, but he beat me to it. "What are you all on about? I never said I'm marrying Clara Lynn." He added Ivy Grant to the group and tagged everyone. "Look closely, this is your real sister-in-law." The chat fell silent. Ethan broke the quiet again. "What's wrong? Greet your new sister-in-law." A few sent awkward hellos. I thought for a moment, then typed, "Congratulations, wishing you a long, happy life together." I sent it and left the group. Less than a minute later, Ethan called. "Clara Lynn, get over here now, our old spot." "Why?" I asked, apologized to Ivy. "For what?" "You left the group. Do you know how that makes her look?" His tone was cold, commanding. "I don't want people talking behind her back. I love her. I want to give her proper title. She's innocent. She shouldn't be called a homewrecker because of your recklessness." I thought I was done letting him rattle me, but my chest ached with rage. My fingers shook as I gripped the phone, my voice trembling. "Ethan Grant, how dare you treat me like this? You cheated. I did nothing wrong. I even congratulated you. Wasn't that enough?" I fought back tears, but my voice broke. After a long pause, he said, "Clara Lynn, I'll let this slide, but remember, Ivy's innocent. Don't take your anger out on her. Don't hurt her." The call ended. I sat on the carpet, trembling. On the nightstand, my mother's photo looked at me with warmth. Tears poured down. I clutched the frame, pressing my face to the cold glass, sobbing. It felt like my mother mourned with me, grieving for her daughter. I didn't want to cry anymore. I didn't want her, wherever she was, to see me so broken. After her memorial, I'd leave this city with her keepsakes and never return. Ivy took my room. I didn't take hers, just settled in a random guest room. The blanket was damp and cold, but I pulled it over me and forced myself to sleep. Just a few more days, and it would all be over. But the next morning I went downstairs and saw the altar where my mom's photo and offering stood, now trashed. Her picture lay on the floor, the frame shattered, her smiling face marred with footprints as if in pain. Offerings were scattered, and Ivy's dog was gnawing on them. Ivy stood nearby, clapping and cheering. I froze, blood rushing to my head. All reason vanished. Like a mad woman, I grabbed a vase and smashed it toward the dog. It fled in fear. Ivy shrieked as a shard cut her arm. "Clara, what are you doing? How could you hurt your sister?" Dad's voice boomed as Ivy sobbed, throwing herself into his arms. "Dad, save me! Clara's trying to kill me!" "You've gone too far, Clara," Dad shouted. "Can't you see? She ruined Mom's photo, threw away her offerings." I trembled, tears streaming, heartbroken for my mother. But Dad only glanced at the mess, frowning. "Even so, you shouldn't have gotten violent. You hurt someone, Clara." "Dad," I cried, "Mom's been gone so long. What matters more, a dead person or a living one?" His tone was cold. Ivy whispered, "Dad, my dog knocked over the offerings W by accident." I wanted to apologize, but Clara attacked me before I could explain. She lifted her bleeding arm pitifully. "Maybe Mom and I should leave?" "It's just a dog. It doesn't know better," Dad said, glaring at me. "But you, Clara, don't you?" He slapped me hard across the face. I was stunned, unable to dodge. For a moment, he seemed shocked too, but he said nothing, just walked off with Ivy to tend her wound. I stood there, the pain on my cheek burning as tears fell. I laughed bitterly. There was no place for me here anymore. That night, I woke to screams. My door was kicked open, and my stepmother stormed in, slapping me before I could react. "How could you be so cruel? Hurting her in the day wasn't enough. Now you want to kill her?" She collapsed into Dad's arms, sobbing. She knew Ivy's allergic to peaches and poured peach juice on her bed and pillows. "She's trying to kill our daughter." "It's okay, don't cry. Ivy took her medicine in time," Dad soothed, glaring at me. "Clara, you've disappointed me. Move out tomorrow. You're bringing chaos to this family." My stepmother's sobs stopped instantly. I looked at the man who'd once been my world, who'd cherished me as his only daughter. Now everything had changed. I felt like a tragic heroine. My life stolen, left with nothing. I'd cried, fought, but now I saw clearly. Our bond was broken. When I moved out, Dad said, "After your mother's memorial, I'll bring you home." I didn't reply. After they left, I burned every photo with Ethan and Dad, shredded the wedding dress I'd bought 3 years ago, the one I'd dreamed of as a princess. I sorted Ethan's gifts, valuable ones I gave to my friend to return to him later. The sentimental trinkets I threw away without hesitation. I'd once cherished even a tiny keychain, but now I felt nothing. I packed my mother's photo carefully into my suitcase and left the house I'd lived in for 10 years without looking back. As I stepped out, Ethan's car pulled up. I didn't glance at it, but he stopped beside me, rolling down the window, his handsome face in view. "Clara Lynn, where are you going?" I struggled with my suitcases, too tired to engage, and kept walking. Ethan got out. "Want my driver to take you?" "No, thank you," I said, dodging his hand. He grabbed my wrist. "Clara Lynn, why so stubborn? If you cried like before, maybe I'd soften." I pulled away, looking at him calmly. "Ethan Grant, there's no need anymore. No need to cry, no need for you to soften. I'm done." "Fine, do what you want," he said with a twisted smile, disbelief in his eyes. He was used to me waiting for him, everyone saying I'd never leave. As I walked away, Ivy's soft voice called, "Ethan, you're here." She rushed over, clinging to his arm, pressing against him. "Are your allergies better?" Ethan asked, brushing hair from her forehead. "Much better," Ivy said, smiling sweetly, her eyes like crescent moons. "Ethan, don't be mad at Clara," she said, shaking his arm. "It's my fault for being so weak. If I weren't sick, Dad wouldn't have asked to swap rooms, and she wouldn't have lashed out." "How's that your fault?" Ethan said protectively. "She's the one who's petty." He glanced at me, pulling Ivy closer. "Let's go inside. Your face is healing. Don't let the wind bother it." "Okay," Ivy nodded. I watched them walk off, inseparable, but my heart was still, like a calm lake. After Mom's memorial, Dad didn't come for me as promised. On Ethan's birthday, I'd have once planned his gift weeks in advance, booked a perfect restaurant, decorated every detail. This time I did nothing. At 5 p.m., heading to the airport, messages flooded in. Dad texted, "Why aren't you here? Your Aunt Ivy and I are waiting. Be gracious, Ethan's family now. If you don't show, people will think you and your sister are at odds." I laughed, blocked his number, and ignored the rest. Just before boarding, Ethan messaged, "Why aren't you here? Everyone's waiting." I smiled, said nothing, blocked him completely, and walked through the gate without looking back. At 7 p.m., Ethan's party hadn't started. He sat on a sofa, flipping a lighter, glancing at his phone. Ivy tugged his sleeve. "Ethan, it's late. Everyone's hungry." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Hungry, huh?" He pinched her cheek. "I'm starving. Can't wait for cake." Ivy giggled, leaning into him. Ethan caught a familiar scent and paused. "What perfume is that?" "Just one from the vanity at home," Ivy said nervously. "Does it smell bad?" "No, it's nice," Ethan said. "But it's the same one Clara always wore." He couldn't recall the brand. As the cake fight began, Ethan stepped onto the terrace with a cigarette. His phone stayed silent. He remembered Clara promising never to miss his birthdays. She'd broken that vow so easily. His lips curled into a sneer. "Clara Lynn, are you dead? Can't even reply?" He sent the message, but it failed. A red exclamation mark glared back. She'd blocked him without hesitation. He tried calling, but the line was dead. Staring into the dark, fury spread through him. He'd pushed her away, grown bored, chosen someone new. Everything was as he'd wanted, yet it felt hollow. In the new city, I met my college friend Mia instead of contacting Daniel right away. I wanted to share my secret, but wasn't sure how. Unexpectedly, I ran into Daniel at the welcomes dinner Mia planned. He stood at the private room's entrance, black suit sharp, coat draped over his arm. The soft light behind him cast shadows on the mural, framing him like a dream. Yeah, he was more handsome, more composed than in college, now my fiancé. My cheeks burned as I gripped my dress, sweating nervously. "Mia, what's Daniel doing here?" I whispered. "Business dinner nearby," Daniel said casually, his eyes on me. "Saw familiar faces, so I crashed. Hope you don't mind?" "Of course not," someone shouted. "You're always welcome." Daniel smiled, taking the seat across from me. I kept my head down, avoiding his gaze. "Clara, it's been a while," he said, smiling. I looked up, meeting his calm eyes, my face flushing. "It's been a long time, Daniel," I said, raising my glass. We clinked, and he sipped, holding my gaze. Mia tugged my sleeve, smirking. "Something's up between you two." "What?" I said. His eyes haven't left you since he walked in, she teased. My heart raced. After college, I'd returned to River City with Ethan, losing touch with Daniel except for occasional WeChat greetings. Only when Ethan chased Ivy did Daniel reach out. We'd spoken a few times by phone. This was our first meeting since I'd agreed to marry him. We hadn't even held hands. A girl asked, "Daniel, got a girlfriend?" "I've got a stunning cousin." Laughter erupted. Mia jumped in. "If you're single, what about Clara?" "She's gorgeous, sweet, top school grad like you. Perfect match." I was mortified, my face burning. Daniel's calm voice cut through. "Enough, Mia. Don't tease Clara. She's shy." Mia grinned. "Senior's protective now." Daniel didn't deny it. I glanced at him. He was looking at me. My cheeks burned and I looked away. My phone lit up. "Daniel Lee, wait for me after dinner. I'll drive you." I didn't reply, but my heart pounded. After dinner, I waited in the hotel lobby. A call came from Ethan's circle. "Clara, where have you been? Hang out tonight?" "I'm busy," I said politely. "You go ahead." "Wait, it's about Ethan. He's drunk, in a bad mood. If he keeps drinking, he'll end up in the hospital again." "Call Ivy," I said. "He kicked Ivy out," they sighed. "We know he still has feelings for you. He regrets it." "Stop," I said flatly. "Ethan and I are done. His life's not my concern. Don't call me again." Noise erupted, then Ethan's voice. "Clara, I didn't ask them to call. They did it themselves." Same arrogance, same pride. "I'm hanging up," I said. "Clara," he said, his voice heavy. Once I'd have pitied him, urged him to stop drinking. Now he was nothing to me. I hung up, deleted his friends from my contacts, and moved on. In the lobby's warm light, Daniel approached, his face soft under the glow. "Daniel," I stood as he walked toward me, steps unsteady from drinking. "You okay? Too much to drink?" He nodded, brows furrowed. "Bit of a headache. My car's outside. Can you help me?" I supported him, his height making us stumble. At the car, I lost balance, falling into his arms. The scent of wine and his cedar cologne enveloped me. Flustered, I tried to pull away, but he held me. "Clara, just let me hold you a moment. I'm not dreaming, right? You're Clara Lynn?" His voice was soft, eyes filled with yearning and sorrow. My heart ached. "You're not dreaming. It's me." Before I finished, his lips brushed mine, gentle, tender. He pulled back, sensing my hesitation, and guided me to sit. The car moved, and he raised the divider, sealing us in quiet. I tensed, but he let go of my hand. "Don't be afraid, Clara." "I'd never do anything here. I'll wait until our wedding night." My face burned. After a moment, I looked at him and whispered, "Okay." Ethan was drunk again. Ignoring his friend's pleas, he couldn't pinpoint why he felt so low. Maybe he'd grown bored of Ivy, she wasn't special. Or maybe he missed Clara's gentleness, her quiet strength. When his friends called Clara, he'd silently approved, but her refusal snapped something in him. He'd grabbed the phone, spitting angry words. She hung up without a word. Didn't come to him. Didn't care if he drank himself sick. He panicked but told himself she was just hurt. She'd loved him for 3 years. She couldn't let go. "Ethan, are you trying to kill yourself?" a friend scolded, snatching his bottle. "We called Ivy. She's coming to take you home. Stop drinking." At Ivy's name, Ethan felt disgust. He smashed the bottle. "Who told you to call her? She's not my girlfriend." His friends exchanged looks. "You forgot? You and Clara broke up. You told us to call Ivy your fiancé." "We're not engaged," Ethan said coldly, grabbing another bottle. "You only ever listen to Clara," the friend said. "If she were here, you'd be home, not drinking yourself into the hospital." Ethan didn't reply. His friend dialed Clara, but the call failed. Everyone tried. Clara had blocked them all. The room grew heavy. "Maybe she's just too angry," one said. "You ended it so coldly, then dated her stepsister. Anyone would feel betrayed." Another added, "My cousin saw her at the cemetery on her mom's memorial." Her eyes were swollen from crying. "Ethan, go to her apartment. Talk to her." Ethan recalled Clara leaving the Lynn household, dragging suitcases, her home taken by Ivy and her mother, her father now Ivy's. He'd been charmed by Ivy's youth, abandoning Clara without a thought. Her final look, calm, empty, like he was a stranger, haunted him. He stood to leave when Ivy walked in. "Ethan," she said softly, eyes teary, wronged. "Why drink so much? You'll have a headache tomorrow." She looped her arm through his. A familiar scent hit him. "What's that smell?" he asked. "Same perfume as last time," Ivy said, smiling. Inside, she resented it. She'd taken it from Clara's vanity, wanting to toss Clara's designer perfumes, but kept this one because Ethan liked it. "If you love it, I'll wear it daily," she said, eyes longing. Ethan's face darkened. He shoved her away. "Ethan," Ivy gasped. He stared, voice calm but furious. "What's wrong?" she asked, reaching for him. He slapped her. "You hit me," Ivy sobbed, clutching her cheek. "Aren't you allergic to peaches, Ivy? Didn't you say Clara smeared peach juice on your bed to kill you?" "I am allergic. Dad knows. Clara told the maid to do it." Ethan grabbed her collar, lifting her. "You're wearing Clara's favorite perfume, the one I bought her, the one she wore daily. I didn't recognize it at first because I forgot too much." He laughed bitterly. He'd forgotten Clara's devotion, their 3 years, his longing for their future. He'd forgotten her silent tears during their breakup, her kindness, how she'd cherished him. He'd discarded her, and now he faced the consequences. "The perfume's middle notes are white peach and jasmine," he said. "You're allergic to peaches, yet you wear it daily with no reaction." Ivy's face paled, trembling. Her lies unraveled. She'd deceived him, Clara, and Mr. Lynn. "I must have been blind to fall for someone so manipulative," Ethan said, shoving her away. Ivy collapsed, speechless. "I'll tell everyone who you are," he said, slamming the door behind him. He sped to Clara's old apartment. The lights were off. He rang the bell, knocked until his knuckles ached, but no one answered. A neighbor called management, who revealed Clara had moved out and was selling the unit. Where was she? Was she gone forever? Fear consumed him. He'd lost her. Ivy and her mother's lies against Clara came to light. Housekeepers defended Clara, exposing the truth. When Ivy and her mother were expelled from the Lynn estate, they were disgraced, stripped of stolen luxuries. Ethan stood among withered peonies, eyes red. Flowers might bloom again, but some people never return. Mr. Lynn tried contacting Clara, but she hung up silently. She had taken her mother's keepsakes and inheritance, leaving the Lynn family an empty shell. At the estate, Mr. Lynn ordered Ivy and her mother's suitcases opened, revealing stolen designer goods. "Take nothing else," he commanded. They screamed, but bodyguards stripped their jewelry. Ivy's earlobe tore, blood dripping, but Mr. Lynn didn't look at her. She clung to the gate, screaming, "Ethan, I'm pregnant. It's yours." Ethan felt only disgust. "Mr. Lynn, I never touched her," he said. "Good," Mr. Lynn replied, and the women were dragged away. In the garden, wilted cherry blossoms lay dormant, Clara's mother's favorite, tended by Clara until she left. Mr. Lynn wept. "I failed Clara, her mother. I promised to love her, but I broke it. Will I pay for this? How hurt she must have been." He looked at Ethan. "Her mother's photo is fixed. I'll renovate the house. Will Clara come back?" Ethan didn't know, but couldn't admit the truth. "Mr. Lynn, Clara's soft-hearted," he began, but couldn't finish. "They'd treated her cruelly, driven her away. My wedding to Daniel was the next spring, as we'd dreamed in youth. Mia was my only bridesmaid. I invited no one from River City, but somehow Dad and Ethan learned of it. On the wedding day, Daniel asked how to handle them. As the makeup artist worked, I saw my reflection beside my soon-to-be husband. The bridal makeup made me look like the cherry blossoms Daniel planted for me, radiant, shy, stunning. In his tuxedo, Daniel was breathtaking. We shared a smile in the mirror. I don't want to see them," I said softly. "Okay, I'll have them removed," Daniel said without hesitation. "Some scars fade, but some ties are too fragile to hold. I was done forcing it. I walked the stage in my white gown, bouquet in hand. Daniel reached for me before I reached him. Amid blessings and laughter, our hands clasped tightly. He kissed me, long and deep, oblivious to the crowd. When the ring slid onto my finger, he whispered, Clara, I love you. I've loved you forever, and I'll love you always. Tears shimmered as I smiled. Daniel, I'll try to love you well, too. He held me gently, warmly. The wedding was grand, romantic. Dad and Ethan didn't enter the ceremony but stayed outside. Dad suffered a heart attack midway, rushed to the hospital, saved but comatose. Ethan lingered until the end. Mia hadn't blocked him, so he saw every wedding photo and video on her social media. He'd known Daniel was my groom, a talented senior from college. Ethan had once been jealous of him, and Clara had distanced herself from Daniel to ease his fears. Yet she married him. Ethan saw Daniel's devotion in every image, a mirror of his old love for Clara, until he'd grown bored, chased Ivy, and lost her. Too late, he realized what he'd had. Daniel carried me away, likely to our new home with a garden of cherry blossoms blooming vibrantly in spring. On his drive back to River City, Ethan crossed a quiet bridge at night. He floored the gas, turned the wheel sharply, and closed his eyes. The car crashed into the railing, and silence followed. The cherry blossoms would bloom again, but in another's garden. If there was a next life, Ethan wished to return to when Clara emerged from grief. To love her right this time. If you liked this incredible story, please like and subscribe to the channel to see even more of it.